Oh, I figured I'd do a quick update. It's, September 24th. I'm about, I would say about 7 to 8 weeks into the semester and my time here at Briar. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's not what I expected, but in a good way. As in, like, I expected there to be so much more, I guess, social or cultural resistance to me coming here. I mean, it's an all-women's college. There are people in the world that try to argue that trans women are not women, and especially being one of the first coming here. I've known others that came here that had a good experience, but to my knowledge, they weren't living on campus, and, they were commuter students, and they, were taking a few classes, whereas I'm, like, fully immersed in here, and so I was a little hesitant, because I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to get treated? What is it going to be like? But it's been awesome. Like, playing field hockey, playing a sport is amazing. I've made so many friends, and my team is fantastic. It's one of those things where if I need a shoulder to cry on, like, I've got, like, over a dozen girls on my team, that, I know would help me. My classes are great. Like, I love my classes. I'm taking microbiology and intro to organisms, the Black Death, and, like, a history class about the Black Death in medicine, as well as, what's the other class I'm taking? Shoot. I'm blanking. I've got some labs for both those classes. Intro to Psychology, that's the one. Which is kind of weird because I studied master's in counseling, but I've never taken undergraduate, like, psych classes. Yes, it is possible, because grad school is not necessarily dependent on your curriculum. I had a degree in physician assistant studies and philosophy with medical ethics. So I was self-taught psychology, so that's how I was able to do my master's. Being one of the oldest people on campus, there are, like, a few students that are, like, commuters or whatever, but living on campus as a 29-year-old is at first a little weird, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, look, for all intents and purposes, like, hormonally, I'm a 16-year-old, so I'm a first year, I'm a freshman, so screw it. Like, I don't need to take everything seriously, in the sense of, like, obviously take your college seriously, but I don't need to take it seriously in the sense of, like, oh, I'm older, and all these young kids, because I'm gonna be honest, y'all, like, young kids are they're pretty on the ball, they're pretty smart, and I don't know, like, they have made such a welcoming environment here, and the administration and the staff, hands down, have been awesome. Like, if you're thinking of coming to Briar, even if you're not trans, sorry, my room's dry from it's been cold the last few days. Even if you're not trans, or if you're LGBTQ, if you're of low socioeconomic status, like low income, if you're just looking for a place to belong, like, you can find that here. I will say, this school is one of those places where if you don't want to put in the work of not being social, but going out and, like, I'm going to join a club, or I'm going to join a sport, or I'm going to get involved, like, no one's going to force you to do any of that, which is good if people want to take a break, but at the same time, if people are trying to come to a place and be involved, but they don't want to take the initiative, this is not the place for you. But I will say that if you're willing to try, like, I changed entirely how my personality was. Well, not my personality, but, like, my approach. Because at my old college, I was very much that grumpy, like, I don't want to do anything. Silly kids. And I was depressed, and I drank a lot, and bored, and grumpy at everything, and my grades started slipping. So when I came here, I was like, Erica, you're not doing that. So, like Sweetbriar in and of itself, it's such a small school, but you can walk down like any street and like most of the time driving to class or like walking to class, I wave and say hi to like 6 people, because everyone's just friendly. Everyone knows each other. And are there issues? Yeah, we have issues. But at the same time, I found that this school really does try to like address any issues that you have, or at least listen, and that's more than most schools will offer you. So they show that they're not just looking for a paycheck, and there's a reason why the alumni base is so strong, is because like your heart and soul really does go into this place, and yeah. So if you're looking for a place to belong, if you're looking for a place to be accepted, consider Sweetbriar. I want to do a video of like some of the events that we've done. Like I've done Founders Day, which is like a whole weekend. Like the day is we put on a white dress and then we go walk up to Monument Hill and pay our respects to the family. The day before we were supposed to go to the slave cemetery, but we got rained out. So I'm going to do that because this used to be a plantation. So I'm going to do that again, and walk to the slave cemetery and pay my respects. And then we had the Founders Day dance, which we couldn't have any outside guests, but we still had fun with it anyway. And then we also had like Spirit Week. You know, it seems like there's always something going on. Tap clubs or tapping, which is, you can't talk about it. You can and you can't. And it's not my place to talk about it. But there's a link on the website for Sweetbriar tap clubs. That'll fill you in. Go there. But it's just kind of cool to watch them tap and see who they took and who they didn't, and stuff like that. Yeah, and I'm on SGA. I'm on the Student Government Association, and I'm in charge of non-traditional students. So, and I'm trying to make some changes. So we'll see. But yeah, overall, it's been a ride. My room's really messy, as you could tell, but I went from being in a school, in a place that was not very accepting, like some people were, but like you always had to be on guard. Like I always had to make sure I looked perfect. I always had to make sure I sounded perfect. I always had to make sure like no one had any reason to suspect who I was, like that I was trans. But here, it's like you could just be you, and instead of having to always worry about looking a certain way or acting a certain way, you could just look how you want to look and act how you want to act without repercussions, because it's okay here. And it is kind of interesting not having men on campus, just because, I mean, so we do have trans men, so there are men on campus, but there are not cisgendered heterosexual men on campus. And so, it makes for an interesting dynamic and environment. But yeah, so this is I had exams all week, and I'm doing research and trying to make some changes as we go. But y'all, like I said, if you're looking for a place of love, acceptance, and they joke that here, when you step on campus, like if you're meant to be here, you feel like you're home, and it sounds silly, but 100%, that's how it is. So, so yeah, I don't know. If you have any questions about coming here, like ask, and I'm more than happy to answer, and I'll try to do a video of posting some pictures and talking about the different events. So, I just wanted to update y'all. I have to go back to work, but see ya. Have a good day.